Okay, I've just stopped over here at this tree that Peter's busy showing you now, and the reason I stopped at this tree is it's been something that I've always liked to show people. It's a really beautiful example of how just the whole structure works out over here. How everything has happens for a reason. This damage that you see to the tree here is something that's come from elephant. The bark of the tree itself, this part over here, this part over here of the tree, this is what's called the cambium layer. Well, this is the outer layer of the cambium layer, the bark itself. This central part of the tree over here, there's no real life in it. This is just the structure that actually holds the tree up, the foundation of the tree itself, and keeps the tree, allowing the tree to stand so it can grow. Now the life in the tree is inside this cambium layer that I was showing you, and that's where all the nutrient flow happens. So what you get is elephants coming in here, and they actually stick a tusk in, wedge their tusk in, and break it off, and strip off the bark and actually start eating that. Now, looking at it, you would say, yeah, this is very destructive, because I mean, now this whole layer has been stripped off. There's no pathway, there's no route for the nutrients to actually move up and down through the tree. So this tree is in fact going to die, or it's probably already dead. And you'll just end up with one of those typical skeletal trees that you see out in the bush. Great for photography, but the tree's dead. And one could say this is very destructive. But the beauty in it is, that's one of the ecological roles of elephants. The elephant will come and he'll strip a tree like this, and now this part of the tree is exposed. And the fact that it's exposed now means that it's available for other animals to utilize, especially an insect called a wood-boring beetle, or wood borer. And they come and they'll bore inside the wood, and they in their larval stage, and they'll pupate inside the tree and become adults and eat their way out again. Now, the interesting thing with that is that this has all been made available. If the elephants didn't come and strip that, the beetle wouldn't have a place to go and bore into. It wouldn't have its first meal, and in turn the woodpecker will come along and start knocking around that little hole, and he'll find a meal inside there. And that woodpecker has a meal now, all because the elephant stripped the bark off the tree. This will happen over years and years and years, and eventually the structure will become weaker and weaker and weaker. And as it gets weak, and the storm will come through, or strong winds, or an elephant might come and rub its backside against it, the tree will end up falling over. As the tree falls over, and the winds come through in the winter months, and the seeds blow through, and the seeds will actually drop from grass, drop next to the tree, and you'll get a thick, dense blanket of grass growing over this tree, which is a home for other animals. Scrub hares, reptiles, some mongoose species, birds, anything like that. So all of a sudden, just because an elephant pushed or elephant came and stripped the bark of the tree, you have food for the wood-boring beetles, you have food for the woodpeckers, you have a home for small mammals and reptiles and birds, and eventually the tree will just decompose and the nutrients will soak back into the soil, and you'll have a healthy piece of ground rich in nutrients that other plants can utilize to actually grow. So one could say it's a little bit of damage, but it's all part of the ecological role of animals, and you have a nice big balance in the ecosystem because of that. And it's just something that I find fascinating. One animal's actions and the impact that it has on everything else. Oh, sorry there. There we go. I suppose I should appreciate this, that Peter's seeing all these big trees like we see now. Not going to be seeing those in a while.
Well, some reasonable trees around, but not many of them.